Alexa, are we being divided and conquered?
From knoxcounty.org. It's divided into Concord Park West and Concord Park East.
Whatever.
I think so. You'll be home before the leaves change, is what the Kaiser told the men marching out of Berlin in 1914. Whoops. Anyway, today, some good festival news, a review of the excellent films Smile and All Quiet on the Western Front, and more. Today on Cinema Unites the World. Stay tuned. Begin, but see the hat? We lost the other night to Washington. Whatever. It's easy to blame the refs, especially missing that face mask. But guess what? Hungry dogs, young faster. A woof. And I thought about not wearing this hat on this show, but that would make me a fake fan if I didn't. Even though I don't know nearly enough about the sport of football than others, I'm a fan, and yet I'm not on the team. I also want to echo what this man here, Jason Kelsey, said, which is, well, on the money. He basically was like, be quiet. It wasn't just what he's getting at here. You can read the text, the picture in front of you, the tweet, the interview with his brother. Is that we often make excuses in life. Like something bad happens, it doesn't go the way we want. We blame anybody but ourselves, and that's a loser mentality. He's absolutely right. Winners take responsibility. Like, what choice did I make to get here? There you go. Moving on. A friend of mine took our boys, my son and his son, to the Museum of Flying in Santa Monica. It's near the airport where I train, and it was quite lovely. And this happened. How you doing? Listen, we land in Cincinnati, and I go to the Marriott near the airport. So you want to grab a drink or something, or? It's gonna get darker later in the show here, so I thought I'd start with a little humor. But anyway, my script, Dirty Girl from Hell, is competing in the Sherman Oaks Film Festival going on right now. Theatrical screenings are being held nightly at the Whitefire Theater in Sherman Oaks. That's 13500 Ventura Boulevard, Sherman Oaks, California. Screenings for the 2022 festival take place from November 15th to November 20th. The link for the website can be found in the description below. In addition to winning Best Comedy Short at the recent Silver State Film Festival, Journalism 101 at the Influx Film Awards has won Best Produced Screenplay, Best Actor Female for my buddy Hannah Perlman, and Best Actor Male for yours truly. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it.
Don't try to make me feel guilty, Stacy. You and I both know the only reason I'm here in the first place is because your brother said he'd be my lawyer if I did this.
I don't know I'm even surprised. You are still the same arrogant, selfish dick you were in college.
I'm still the same? At least I've done something with my life. You were so stuck in the past, you never even left this place. You peaked in college, and now you're stuck trying to relive your glory days. It's pathetic!
I never wanted what you had. I love my job. I get to prepare kids for the real world, something you were never prepared for. John, we don't have to like each other, but please don't do this to the students.
Oh, come on. Assad is right. This place is a joke. These kids wouldn't know how to report the news if it smacked them in the face.
Then teach them.
I'm sorry, I can't. I quit!
So I saw Smile the other night, and I really liked it. 2 thumbs way up. I love cinema for a lot of reasons. Most of all, with every new film that I watch, I learn something about myself as well as other people. It gives me that. A good film like this will give me more empathy. I mean, first of all, the film was absolutely terrifying. It had a lot of wonderful jump scares and creeping dread. Sosie Bacon was wonderful in the lead. But it reminds me that hurt people hurt people. That's the very popular phrase going through. The first hurt is an adjective, the second's a verb. This is an allegorical horror picture about how trauma is passed on. Yeah, people who have been sexually abused it's done to them by people who are also sexually abused, and it's done to them, and it's a cycle. And the villain is this entity that it passes on by having you witness a violent death, and it traumatizes you, and then you start hallucinating, and then bad things happen. But the main character is hiding a lot, and I wonder what we're all hiding, because I know for a fact that we're all suffering right now to some extent. Not very, you can hear my family in the background maybe, but how did we get here? The next picture I'm going to talk about is this unbelievable masterpiece, the best film I've seen all year, All Quiet on the Western Front. From the moment I was a small lad, I wanted to go to the University of Pennsylvania. It's like all my dream was to go to Penn. My parents were alums, and even with that, the odds were not great, but I just said, I'm going. I have to go. I have to try. I did everything I could. Every move I made in high school was to get into Penn. And I remember the day in December 1995, I got home, and there was a big, fat envelope waiting for me. It says, congratulations, you've been accepted into the class of 2000. And if you were in the next county, next time zone, you probably heard me screaming. I was so happy. And while I will admit to you that I have my regrets, as maybe we all do, about a lot of my behavior, and I need to stop beating myself up about that. I was immature, whatever. And the choices I made there, I would have made different choices, obviously, today. But I would never, ever regret going, not for 1 second. And I was 19 my freshman year of college. Meal plan, singing a cappella, getting rejected by girls, homesick, in spite of the fact that all I ever wanted to do was go there, but I got over it pretty quick. Change is lost, as my late father always put it. And I was, in a dorm instead of dying in the mud for no good reason. And that's what brings us to this picture, based on a very famous book by a World War I vet. It made me grateful. It's on Netflix. It's in German, made by the Germans, from their point of view. Don't let that stop you. Us Americans aren't as big on World War I as the rest of the world is. We were late to that war. I'm not going to go into the reasons why we maybe should not have gone in at all. This never should have happened. Guns of August by Barbara Tugman. Read that book. But Hemingway talked about the Lost Generation, and this is before World War II, the sequel. Yay! But the power of cinema in this film and Peter Jackson's They Shall Not Grow Old, a wonderful documentary, Spielberg's War Horse, Sam Mendes, 1917, and of course, Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory. That one will piss you off. Ego and Pride. Ego and pride is why humanity continues to suffer. And there's several scenes in All Quiet on the Western Front where the German dignitaries meet with the French dignitaries to discuss terms of a peace. The French are pissed and prideful and angry, and they said, "This is not a negotiation. Our terms are non-negotiable." And that came back to bite him in the ass later. To think that there was a time when going to war was romantic. To whom exactly? Yeah, I've obviously never fought in a war, but I've met people who have, and you never ask. I watched Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, and the scene towards the end when the hobbits are back in Hobbiton, and everyone's just having a good old time, and they can't talk to anybody. And they just cheers their beer glasses and look at each other and I was too immature to understand why that was, because they've been through hell and no one can understand it. That's why you hear stories of vets not being able to readjust to civilian life. But you know what? Ego and pride are still here. So watching this movie was a very moving experience. It was also infuriating, and it made me feel grateful that I was born where I was when I was. Good question to ask yourself. is if you could, would you take the ovarian lottery? Which means you go to sleep and you wake up in a new body. Maybe the same person, but at a different time. It could be anywhere. You could end up in a mansion in Beverly Hills, being waited on hand and foot. You could wake up in a Star Trek Paradise Future, or you could end up in 12th century France or whenever the first plague was. Would you do that? And and remember, you have no control over where you end up. It's a lottery, spin of the wheel, and I definitely won that lottery, and those kids who died in the mud for no good reason did not. And can't forget that. I think All Quiet on the Western Front is a very, very good film and worth watching, especially with what's been happening since really, well, I was going to say March of 2020, but long before that. And kicked into overdrive. And everybody hates each other, isn't it great? No, it's not. A lot of pissed off people. Yeah. And so there are a lot of people I haven't talked to in years, and I haven't called them, they haven't called me. That's what this does to people, divides us. And so, yeah, to answer the question that Alexa over there wouldn't answer properly anyway, I do think we're being divided and conquered. I just don't know whom, because people doing it like to hide. And I don't want war, I don't want violence, and I don't want revenge. There are people who have hurt me badly, and this is my good wolf talking. When the bad wolf talks, when too many bad wolves talk, that's when we get trenches. Pardon me. Cookie. And in an allegorical sense, too. Well, that's what we're in. The trenches right now, allegorically. Thank God, only allegorically for now. Okay, anyway, that's... Anything else? That's pretty much it. I'll be back doing one of these shows once a week of me just yapping my gums, take it or leave it. I promise you I mean well. But thank you very much for watching. Check me out on the Twitter, or not, at JER Cinema. Instagram, Cinema Unites the World. Email me at cinemaunitestheworld@gmail.com. And of course, we got hats and bracelets available to you at jordanrockwell.com. Anyway, thank you very much for watching Cinema Unites the World, and I'll see you next week. Have you seen this picture? How about that one? How about, subscribe, click on them, you know how it works. Cool? Cool.